Hey friend, welcome back to the Energized Hairdresser. I'm Ashley Jo Gillen, hairdresser, health coach, and your biggest fan behind the chair. This podcast is where we talk about hair, home, and health because you deserve to thrive in all three. Pull up a chair and let's talk. Welcome back to the Energized Hairdresser. Today we have our first guest ever, and I'm so pleased that it's you, Lisa. Today I have with us Lisa Huff, and she is the founder and creator of Stylist Soul Tribe, which is a mastermind community, coaching community for hairdressers to kind of help them with.
I say work their dream schedule with their dream clientele and earn
Perfect.
an incredible income. That's what I say.
I love it. So welcome, Lisa. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here. Full transparency, I always have to say this, and I'm probably going to reference back what I was saying earlier. We are re-recording right now. We didn't get very far into it, but we started recording on one platform and we ran out of storage space. So now we're on Zoom and we're going to take it back from the top and we're going to have this conversation again. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm glad. I'm loving it. So Lisa and I kind of met back in 2017, and which was like almost 10 years ago.
That's actually crazy. The amount of people what do they call it now? Parasocial relationships. That's like what they call like when you follow people and you become like really connected to them. So I think ours is a little bit different, but the amount of people that I have like micro acquaintance relationships on the internet for like a decade is crazy.
Yeah. And just to think how much life has changed in 10 years. Like 10 years ago, there was no video, short form video.
Yeah. I mean, that's a third of my life almost. That's really crazy.
Yeah. Like, man. So we met through a business and marketing hairdresser program at Thriver Society, which was fantastic. And then we've just kind of followed each other since then. We've recently reconnected. I was fortunate enough to be on Lisa's podcast a couple weeks or like a month ago. And so here we are. So we're going to have a conversation today. And Lisa and I actually have been working a little bit together. She's kind of helping me figure out some of my behind the chair business. And because I am a verbal processor, I'm always curious how other hairdressers are verbal processors. And so she brought up a topic called clarity is kindness. And I think that is something that we're going to talk about today. So where did you tell me, let's unpack that a little bit. Where did you learn this concept?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm not certain, but I think that it is a Brene Brown quote. I think that's where it originates. You'd have to do a Google check, fact check me. But that's where I remember seeing it and it really resonating with me. But I would say that prior to that, every human being is woven with core values. Everybody values certain things differently. Since as long as I can remember, honesty has been a very strong core value of mine. And I think that stemmed back from like a teenager maybe and how I was raised. And I just remember my dad like always saying, never lie. Like I'd always want to know the truth of what is happening versus you lying and having to if you can't keep up with the story that you're telling, like you will never be in more trouble for whatever you did as long as you tell the truth. And so I don't know why that just always really stuck with me. And I think that a lot of people potentially were raised different or just don't have that woven in their DNA. I think that is not the case for everybody. I think a lot of people grow up with people-pleasing parents maybe, and they see, maybe their mom says one thing to somebody's face, and then when somebody leaves, says something else behind their back, or maybe they were raised like, hey, don't say that to someone, that could hurt their feelings, or whatever. And so maybe people become a little bit more, they avoid honesty sometimes. And that's just never been the way that I am. I like to assume that everybody that I'm in contact with, personally, professionally, relationally, I like to assume that they just as much want to be a part of this relationship, exchange, whatever that I want to be. So I think it's really important that I share that with others. So when I started business coaching, I realized that comes a lot more natural to me than it does to a lot of other people. And I would find people being like, oh, well, it's time to raise my prices. Maybe I'll just like quietly do a couple dollars and not say anything. Or this one client, has been such a pain in my ass. And I keep, she keeps complaining. She canceled her appointment. Let me just block her from online booking and hope that she never comes back and I never have to face that. So that's kind of like in the beginning of a nutshell where clear is kind comes from. And that's something that I quote a lot when I'm coaching because I think a lot of people just want to take like what feels like the initial easy route, which is not confrontation. But I find that I don't know, confrontation doesn't bother me. I think clear, kind, and professional can be done. And so that's my jam.
I love that. It makes you to to build on that, I do think that core values, especially spending so much time with my children and then looking at myself I'm in my 40s and I think, what are my values? I think as an elder millennial, those were just like assumed. And now with my very much Sour Patch, spicy Gen Alpha kids, nothing is assumed. And to like iterate or reiterate okay, these are the values that we have of our family. These are the things that we're going to do. I don't think is like, I don't know. I think my parents were just like, yeah, don't lie. But I don't think it's that simple anymore. I think you kind of have to spell it out. So talking about clients, let's just say, okay, why might someone think that it's a little easier to just block the person for online booking versus just having the uncomfortable conversation?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just really don't like confrontation. And so they're like, what do they say? Conflict deferred is conflict amplified. I think I originally heard that from Dr. John Deloney. He's on like the Dave Ramsey team. Conflict deferred is conflict amplified. And a lot of people just defer, shove it away, push it aside, stuff it down, hope that it never rears its ugly head again and you never have to see it again. But I don't know. I'm not somebody who does things that I know are going to come back and bite me in the ass later. Like I'd rather just address it. So I think people do it just for the sake of like hoping the client will take a hint. Hopefully they don't have to feel that uncomfortable feeling in their body of like having a confrontation or a direct conversation with somebody. I think a lot of people are afraid that maybe they don't have the skills to do it professionally, and it could yield in hurting someone's feelings. It could yield in, are they going to assume I'm discriminating? It could yield in a bad review. So those are all very valid points, but that's why I love to coach to this, because I think if it's done really intentionally, that's what I said during this coaching call that this got brought up. There's someone else that I'm coaching who I bring people through this yes, no, maybe exercise of, is there any clients that aren't the greatest fits for your business that maybe you need to let go so that you can bring better fits in? Because I like to lean into specializing and working with clients that really light you up. And there was one that she wanted to let go. She just felt like the client's expectations versus her skills weren't lining up, versus this client made her more anxious than others because she asked a ton of questions. She kind of breathed down her neck. It felt like she was never happy. And when she decided to let the client go, she responded back pretty quickly. And I think hindsight being 2020, she wished she would have slowed down, paused, breathed for a second. And that's what I was telling Ashley or telling someone else in the call. Like, all I can say is if you're doing this, slow down. And I love to like hold people's hands with it, because I would rather write one really thoughtful, really intentional, sure, we're going to sandwich it with fuzzy feel goods on the front end and the back end, because I never want to hurt people's feelings or make people feel awkward. But I like to put together a message in business, honestly, and in my personal life as well, that really spells out, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm feeling. It can be clear, it can be kind, it can be professional so that you don't face a bad review. And so I like to coach people to just slow down, take it slow. I'd love to help kind of you write a script. And I feel like I went on a tangent from your original question,
I think
but that's
great.
kind of my thought process with it.
Well, and we do live in such a modern time where everything is instant. Even if you slow down and you waited until the morning to talk to somebody, like that's still a pretty quick response. Like
totally. And in 2026, that feels so wrong because we have read receipts now, and they're like, we know they read that, but I would rather a business owner slow down, take even 48 to 72 hours before adding fuel to a fire of a negative thing in their business that could then yield in a 1-star review or something. I agree. I think that the modern day expectations for communication are unsustainable and get you into a pickle sometimes.
It can. It can. Well, this is a good transition as far as, just the boundaries that people have in the business. Well, okay, going back to a conversation, I had a client earlier this summer, and she's like, hey, I want to do this like hair. And she wanted to do purple and teal. And I mean, she's real sweet, love her. And then I ended up sharing this experience on social media. And oh my gosh, the conversation about like, I told a client no. And I think a lot of hairdressers are really afraid to do that. But I got to a point where this gal wanted, vivid colors. And I just didn't want to do it. Hard feelings. And I told her, I was like, I think that is so cool. I'm not your gal. And then I had people would ask like, oh, well, were you afraid you're going to lose a client?
You were clearly looking to lose that client.
Yeah. Well, and like she'll probably come back for a haircut. She'll probably like she was wanting to do something fun. I'll probably still cut her son's hair if,
Yeah.
like if it works out with our schedule.
Yeah.
But like I have gotten to a point, and anyone who's listening, where it's like you have to really realize like your time is so valuable to purchase. Like, I mean, Vivid Colors, I mean, you're probably going to invest in at least $100 and just
Mhm.
back end, and then your time and your energy, and to not do it. And then on the other side, there was some Vivid specialists in the in the comments saying, I want to do more of this. So
Yeah.
so glad.
Mhm.
And I think that that is the conversation that I would love to help with this industry, is that if you're looking for a specialty, there's people out there for
Yeah.
that, you know?
Well, I think what it comes down to ultimately is scarcity. And I think so many
Mhm.
people are woven in with a scarcity mindset, but that thought process of aren't you afraid you're going to lose a client, as if there's only a pool of 100 clients to ever have,
Yeah,
ever. There are 8 billion people in this world. There is no way in even the most extreme success of a business that you could ever serve. There could ever be enough people that fall within your
right.
specialty that you could serve them all. So I think that just comes from a scarcity mindset, which I'm sure kind of for everybody goes back to childhood. Scarcity can be money related, can be resource related. But yeah, I think that just stems from there's not enough clients to go around. But when you open up to this thought process, like you said, there's a stylist down the road who is praying and dreaming and waiting for that client to fall into hers. And then, one, you're going to invest in all this color, potentially not have enough, get to that, 7/8 of the hair is done. You need to go mix up another tube and there's not enough there. That sucks. Or you're going to have a huge backlog of green
Yeah.
that you're never going to use again.
Yeah.
And that's just not your jam. But if you could pass that person along, you love doing gray blending and you love doing shags. Why block a 4-hour gap in your day when you're trying to get more people who are that target fit? And you can maybe fit 2 or 3 of those people in that time
Exactly.
slot. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And, and then also too, to kind of go like to piggyback on the kindness of it. I saw the gal at soccer, the week after it was done, and I still see her now. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, your hair was so cute. Like,
Well,
it doesn't have to be weird. I think going to that, or building off of that scarcity, we have been taught, well, I mean, I was taught that that client is mine.
loyalty.
No, I
Mhm.
think loyalty can,
I agree. I think it's creepy energy. I think us feeling like we own a stylist or a stylist is cheating on us, that feels so creepy and weird to me. But again, I don't want someone sitting in my chair and coming to get their hair done by me, even though they haven't been loving it for 2 years, just because
yeah,
they know I'm going to be pissy. And the next time I run into them at soccer, I don't want that. I would rather
no,
know that every person sitting in my chair is just as excited to be there as I am to have them there. It's the same way I am with my friendships. It's the same way I am with how I spend my time and my energy. So like, I really want to challenge the people who have that old, outdated mindset. That's not what you want. But that all stems back to, well, if I lose them, I'm already
then
feeling broke. There's already not enough. I'm going to lose more. I'm going to lose more. I am telling you, people, I have seen it time and time again in myself and in people that I've coached. It requires a radical 180 mindset shift. And it isn't like that.
No, it's not, because when you let people go, I mean, another person's going to take their place, or you're not going to be sucked dry by that person's energy anymore. I was been watching Gilmore Girls all summer long, and I love it. I don't know. Are you a Gilmore Girls
I've
fan?
never watched Gilmore Girls. No.
What?
Yeah.
Never once? Okay.
I'm one of those people that, like, every time
Okay.
you tell a movie or a TV show, I'm like, I probably haven't seen that.
That's my husband. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, she has like shopping week one, and I'm like, I feel like there should be a hairdresser shopping week where any consumer can just go try out a new hairdresser
Totally.
and no hard string. Like,
I'm
just
sorry, I don't think that should be a week. I think that should be always.
all the time.
Yes.
Whenever they want. Like, find somebody new, because also too, sometimes like people evolve and their hair evolves,
Totally.
and like you could be sitting in someone's chair and like you don't know what to do. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it just seems like you fall into a rhythm, you fall into a routine, and like people need a new person,
Yeah.
You can only mix 7 in straight
Yeah.
with 20 volume so many times, and they want something new, and it's like,
Yeah.
go, you need new eyes. That's what you need.
Yeah. Well, and now also don't get it twisted. I love retention and I love nurturing and I love teaching people how to build sustainable businesses. So I do think if you can have clients that stick with you for years and years, however, if you feel like they're never happy with your hair, if you feel like they always want to redo, if you feel like the consultation should only take 15 minutes and it's taking 45. If any of those things are happening, sometimes the best thing you can say, and this is what I do anytime I'm coaching people through like writing a message and letting someone go, always, it's not you, it's me, but not in like a cheesy way, but like truly, a quote I love to use is, I don't think I have any more tools in my tool belt to give you the results that you're looking for. I highly recommend you give someone new a try. Because there are some clients that just want something that is impossible. You know, they'll bring in a picture that looks nothing like them. They've been bringing in the same picture for 3 years. That's not your face. That's not your neck. That's not your hair. You're not going to get that look. That at a certain point, if you feel like you're not hitting it out of the park every time, sometimes your clients just need permission that they can try somewhere else. And then they might try somewhere else and be like, JK, I much prefer this. But I think that hoarding scarcity energy is icky and we need to change that.
Well, and one of the consultation questions I really like to ask is, tell me about your life in that point of time from that picture.
Yeah.
Love this. Like, was there ever a time in your life that you really loved your hair?
Yeah.
And, you know, I loved it in college. Well, tell me about your life in college. You know, all that, you know, I was fun and fancy free then, or I was this, you know. And so again, that kind of goes to how emotional our job can be. And so when it came to clarity or implementing these systems, did you ever find it like, I don't know, are you a researcher? Do you have any books? Like, how did you start implementing some of those processes as far as like maybe going, like looking at clients, you're like, man, this isn't going to work for me anymore. My schedule's changing. Tell me what that, like, I always like to get into the nitty gritty. What was that like?
Yeah. So I have my core coaching principles that I call the cycle of success, and they are truly from my brain. It was before AI existed. I didn't read a book that now they were inspired by my life and things that I've been through. And of course, I will say the clientele stage, which is where I do the yes, no, maybe list. This was something that I did. So I'll tell the story a little bit. It was during Thriver's years. I was implementing Thriver strategies. I was seeing massive success. I was earning 30% price increase after 30% price increase after 30% price increase because I came from a salon in Walmart. So my prices were very low and my demand was crazy high all of a sudden because I was marketing like nobody else was. I was new to this town. I didn't know anybody. My demand was insane. And so Britt at the time was coaching me through all these price increases. And at a certain point, I realized after I earned like my 4th or 5th price increase, I was losing some of my favorite clients that I loved for the sake of, I agree, don't cut off the demand source, like don't stop taking new clients. But I realized at a certain point, it's not just about money. And I was like, I'd rather keep this person who's a hell yes, and then this person's, the other person who's a no, stick around and me lose my favorites. So I started in between price increases doing a yes, no, maybe list. So I wanted to get to the point where all of my clients were easy yeses so that then, so let's say, or just like, we'll use math. Let's say I can have a clientele of 100 people and I'm packed full at 100 people and I'm about to do another price increase, hoping that I lose another 5 or 10 people so that the demand and the new people who can't get in right now can get in. Rather than just doing another price increase, maybe losing my favorite 5, instead, I would choose, okay, if I'm going to do this price increase, who am I secretly hoping leaves? Why keep secretly hoping that? Why don't I just clearly, kindly, professionally let them know I'm making some changes, I'm cutting down my client load, I'm letting go a handful of clients. I wish you nothing but the best. It's been great. Thank you for the support over these years. You don't legally, morally, ethically have to service anyone in your business. You have the right to provide service on whoever you want to. So that's how the yes, no, maybe list came to be. I will say if there is a book it's inspired by, it would be The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. So I remember reading that and thinking, does this client spark joy? And that's kind of how I do the yes, no, maybe list. And it's almost just like an energy check-in because I would hate when I'd feel so lit up by my business, but then I'd have these few clients for different reasons. We all can relate. And I'm not trying to demonize clients or do anything like that. But some people, you know, have a really heavy personal life going on and it's always something and you have to carry the weight of that. Some people are never happy with their hair. Some people, their damn grays won't cover and you can't figure out why. And I just realized, why do I have to keep going against the grain on these people that are so challenging for me? They might be a better fit for somebody else. Let me stick with the people who are easy breezy, you know? And so that's kind of how I came up with that.
Love that.
Core coaching principles that I have.
Yeah. And I think that's great. I just did some life-changing magic in my own home this weekend.
And maybe threw away your speaker.
I might have. My mom's like, you're getting rid of all this. It's like, it doesn't bring me joy. It's
Yeah.
out. I'm out, you know?
Yep.
And she's like, what? Yeah. Well, this is very helpful. And, you know, so then, and kind of going along with some of my own coaching, it's like, you know, those first few times you probably went through those no's, these people do not light me up. It will be scary. It's
gonna stay scary. You're kind of weird if it's not scary to you, because it's weird to break up with anybody. People love their hairdressers. It's uncomfortable for people to find somebody new. It's scary for them. So yeah, it would be weird if it didn't feel scary.
Yeah.
However, choose your heart. Do you want to keep being miserable with this client for forever? I'm going to challenge you not to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about principles, and I kind of forget that when it comes to marketing, like, well, how people find new clients. Like, I personally would love someone to update my shag haircut for me because I'm doing it myself. But then finding people, and then there's just some of these philosophies, these values that you've done in your business. If you are a hairdresser, and I think a lot of our listeners like here, they have maybe never been through like a business or marketing program. Like, where would you even say, like, oh gosh, like where would one even begin? Like, as far as
specializing and niching.
Yes, niching down. I think that's the trend. Like, that's where hairdressers are going to go. Like,
yeah, and let me say, when you do your yes, no, maybe list as well, we have no's and we address firing those as long as it's not majority of your clients. But then who are the hell yeses? And what do they have in common? Maybe they all happen to be gray blending shags. Maybe they all happen to be women in leadership positions at work, so they have a flexible schedule and can come in whenever. Maybe they're of a certain political affiliation and they vibe better with you. Maybe they're more positive people. Whatever the reason is. Maybe you guys love to talk about what books you're reading. Whatever the reason is, I do like to look at trends, though, at the yes, no, maybe list. So the trends will usually tell you what's in common with all your yeses. How do we take all those things from, are you getting a blonde balayage? Are you getting a vivid color? Are you getting gray blending? Also, are you into rom-coms? Are you into reality TV? Are you into these kinds of things? And then positioning your messaging for your business to lean into those things. So if we're just talking, if you're going to specialize in extensions or curly hair or gray blending or shags or whatever, what you would start to do, like real tangible things that you could start to do, is one, update your website, which I know not all hairstylists have a website, so it's okay if you don't have that. Second would be start posting those things on social media. Start sharing tips and tricks and solving the problems of those specific clients. Start updating your Google business profile with those keywords so that when someone types in shags in Indianapolis, Indiana, you start to come up because you have those keywords in there more. So that's how you start to make that transition. It's not like this thing that just happens overnight, but you stop. So like maybe you learn when you do your yes, no, maybe you have a ton of like kids cuts and men's cuts on your nose and you don't want to do those anymore. Stop posting those, and start posting the people that you want more of.
Yeah. Love that. This is good.
And
I think it just, to sum it all up, like, choose your heart,
Totally.
because we all have so many hours in the day. We're all tired. We're all wanting more out of our careers and our lives. So it's like, yeah, you got to pick,
Totally.
Sometimes things are going to be, you got to kind of jump a hurdle to get to the other side. And it's not wrong. And you're still going to be alive. Your brain's going to freak out, but you're still going to be alive. So.
Well, and I would rather jump one hurdle that at the moment feels like a cliff, but once you do it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal, than every single day having to run uphill. Like, you're just prolonging the inevitable by ignoring these things. And another core value of mine is like a creator mindset versus a victim mindset. I really don't like victim mindsets. It really irks me. It's just not how I'm wired. Rather than just being like, well, I'm at the mercy of these are the clients I've built, or these are who were past me, or decide today is the day you start to change that. You have the control and the ability, especially in this industry, we have the freedom to do what not a lot of jobs get to do. And that is build this to be truly whatever the hell you want it to be.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to move my salon to the middle of a cornfield and I'm going to homeschool my kids.
Yeah.
And it worked for 3 years.
Yeah.
Great, I send my kids back to
And
school.
what other job can you like do that? And then 3 years later, change your mind and do something else. Like it's just, I feel like it makes me sick and sad if you go through a whole entire career and you don't take advantage of those opportunities that not a lot of other jobs will allow you to have.
Yeah, I'm here for it. This is exciting. Well, this has been fun. I love this.
So fun. I could talk about these things forever.
Well, maybe we'll do it again. Well, thank you. Well, so how can people find you?
I'm Lisa Huff Hair on Instagram. So I'm hoping you can put that in the show notes. Yeah. Reach out to me on Instagram. My website is lisahuffhair.com or stylistsoultribe.com. They'll both bring you to the same place. And yeah, if any of this resonates with you, if you even just want to like chit chat in the DMs, if you have a question after listening to this and want to voice note me, I love this shit. I really do. The same way that I would let a client go if I didn't love doing that work. Like I love doing this stuff. So definitely never hesitate to reach out and ask questions because this is my Gilmore Girls. This is what I like to do instead of watching TV. I'm so obsessed with it.
I love it. Well, good. Well, thank you, Lisa, for being here today. And I'm glad we got to chat. And hopefully we've given some people some clarity because you know what a good kindness that we can offer them is just
clear as kind.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.